On NFL Live, the Broncos and the Bills getting ready to go.
Diabolical.
It's really mean.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, the Bills go on to win 31-7. Josh Allen continues his great play. The Bills offense was balanced on Sunday. They became the fourth team in the last 25 postseasons to have 250 pass yards and 200 rush yards in a game. It's the second such game in the Bills' postseason history, along with the 1990 AFC Championship against the Raiders. And it's what makes them so dangerous, I think, going forward through these playoffs and potentially on what they hope is a Super Bowl run. Marcus, what worked so well for Josh Allen and the Bills?
32 rushes. That's what worked. And this team now is so efficient with Josh that he unlocks his talent anytime he gets ready to, which doesn't put him in a situation where he feels like he needs to panic. Yeah. And when you watch him play yesterday, Joe Brady continued to run the football. James Cook obviously had a really good day. Josh obviously toted the rock as well, but there is a sustainability to this type of football over the long run. And that, to me, always felt like the issue with Buffalo when they got into the playoffs. You tried to outthrow Burrow. You lost at home. You tried to outthrow Pat. And even though Josh had great games, it still wasn't efficient. You didn't play a complete game to take some of those things away from other teams. And I think what they do now by being ball dominant and as electric as they are offensively, it really just snuffs people out.
41 minutes is how long they had to
Absolutely. That's my point.
I thought it was the most diverse their run game has been all year. You know, we've talked about so often this season of their 4x1 stuff, and a lot of times it has been the same people running the same concepts or same actions. This game was like, how many different ways can they get the 4x1 with two backs, and then with Curtis Samuel, and then with Shakir and whatnot. And I was very impressed. This is with two backs, so James Cook and Ty Johnson, they flow one way, so you pull everybody to the top of the screen, and then you kind of get a very similar or simple three-level concept at the bottom of the screen. Shakir vacates or takes advantage of the vacated middle space in the field. You get a very similar look, but a completely different action. Number one, that's Curtis Samuel and not Ty Johnson. Number two, James Cook's not in the game. Ty Johnson leaks out the backside, and so you're lifting all this coverage. And then these are easy, kind of what Marcus, you're talking about, these little checkdowns that now this is the efficiency, the ball-dominant part of their offense. That's a completely different play out of a completely different group, out of a completely different action that started looking the same way. Another opportunity in their 4x1, but they motion to it. This time they hand it off to James Cook, and there's that tackle pull, but now they have the bubble RPO attached to it. I counted 9 different runs for them schematically yesterday.
Yep.
9 different runs. That now, like we've talked about the Lions in that regard. I mean, think about that. This Buffalo offense with Josh Allen has become one of the most diverse run games scheme-wise in the league.
Part because those offensive linemen on the move when they pull
are
awesome. Incredible.
And they all do it.
Year. What I love about the Bills' offense is there's like a complexity to it, which you just outlined, but there's also a simplicity.
100%.
They went into this game and they said, oh, cool, Denver, you're really good at getting after the quarterback. You've got these light, fast rushers. We're just going to bully you into submission and because we've got bigger, more physical players. We talked about the 6 offensive linemen all year long.
I know what you're going to say.
Yesterday, they used at the second highest rate of the season. The other thing, though, that jumped out to me
Reggie?
was putting that fullback on the field and running lead.
Yes.
And that's been something that they've leaned into as the year has gone on. He has more than doubled his snap count in the last couple months of the season. In this game, he had double-digit snaps as well. And it's just striking to me how they have so many options when they want to out-physical a team.
You know what we haven't done a good enough job either? James Cook's growth as a back.
His vision really jumped out to me in this game. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Even when we saw them on Monday Night Football earlier in the season, James Cook was saying he felt like he had to earn the trust of Josh Allen and Joe Brady. I'm pretty sure he's done that at this point. It's been earned. RC, defensively, the Bills gave up nothing after that first touchdown. How did they buckle down and change?
Well, I mean, I think the Bills come into every game with schematically to keep the top on the defense, and then they were split by that Johnson catch. And then after that, they played everything top down. But I also thought Sean McDermott was able to create pressure in multiple different ways by diversifying the look of the front, whether it was having backers drop or dropping people into the rush from the second second level. I didn't feel like Bo Nix was comfortable after that first drive. And they had that late drive in the second quarter where they missed the field goal. And I feel like after that, the Buffalo Bills absolutely took over with pressure and disguise on the back end.
I got a question. So a couple times yesterday they ran two safety, maybe it was cover 6, cover 2 man, and they had Milano spying.
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
I know you're not getting ahead of
Think about
yourself.
the Ravens.
Sometimes
You're not
you gotta
running that
practice.
against Baltimore.
Sometimes when you think you're finna win, you got to start practicing for the next week.
Okay.
But we also know, and you guys talked about it as well, Bo Nix was so capable with his legs,
Yeah.
and now you have to try to prepare
But
for
different.
Lamar Jackson. But it's a
Two-man
different
against
dude.
Baltimore.
Hey,
Dude, you go see.
sorry.
It was so
We got all
good.
week to talk about this, and I want to keep going, but we have to go to break, all right, because we got a whole other. We're back on NFL Live. The Patriots have hired Mike Vrabel to be their next head coach. Vrabel, of course, played there from 2001 to 2008, winning 3 Super Bowls. He went on to coach the Titans, going 56-48, including the playoffs, before he was fired in 2023. Here's what Vrabel had to say today at his press conference.
I want to thank the teams that were, willing to meet with me through this process to give me an opportunity to potentially lead their team. But in the end, it was clear to me and to my family and my soul that this was the place that I wanted to be. And I thank Robert and I thank the Kraft family. We're going to remove entitlement from our football team. We're going to get everything that we've earned, from the head coach to the position coaches, all the way down to the players. And we're going to earn the right to be here every single day.
He certainly gets it, what that culture needs to be there, as we welcome in Mike Reese, our Patriots reporter. And Mike, what did Vrabel tell you about working with quarterback Drake May?
Well, Laura, Mike Vrabel said part of the reason this job was so appealing to him was, first, communication with ownership, Robert and Jonathan Kraft, and second, working with Drake May, who he called a young, dynamic quarterback. And after his introduction, I sat down with him one-on-one and asked him more about his impressions of May.
I think he's talented. I think that he is willing to learn. I think that there's a toughness to him, but I think that there's an amazing skill set in which to mold and to have him lead our football team and lead our offense. So there's arm talent, there's toughness, there's athleticism, so certainly we have to be great around him, and we're going to continue to push him as much as he lets us.
Big picture, Vrabel set the Patriots' goals this way. He said they want to win the AFC East, host home playoff games, and compete for championships. But Laura, he said before they can do any of that, they just want to be good enough to take advantage of bad football.
I love it. Thanks so much to Mike Reese, the latest there. I'm excited to see what Vrabel does in New England, honestly. Mina, do you think this was the right hire?
Well, first, I want to say the process that got here was bad and deserves a lot of scrutiny. It was 3 years ago, almost to this day, that Brian Flores, who's the Vikings defensive coordinator, former Patriots coach, sued the league for racial discrimination because of the sham interviews teams, or he alleged, were conducting to satisfy the Rooney Rule. And frankly, the way the Patriots went about this was a pretty clear example of that, in my opinion. That said, I do think Mike Vrabel was a great choice. And it's not just because, he goes the Patriots way and the culture stuff. When he was in Tennessee, he got the most out of that roster every year. And the other thing that I think is worth mentioning to him, Dan, he is a brilliant manager of the game. His understanding of the rules, how to exploit them at times, always impressed me when he was with the Titans. I suspect we will see more of the same in New England.
And I also love the fact that it's go round number 2. So the learning of the experience from the first time. I do think when he mentions the entitlement, that took me back, him within 1 year of Bill Belichick not being there, for him to outwardly say, we're going to get rid of the entitlement in our building, because he mentioned coaches as well. I love the fact that he said we got to be great around Drake May. like understanding that roster stinks. I don't really care about much other than who are you hiring as your offensive coordinator.
That's massive.
Yeah.
That's really just as important.
Who should they try to get? Who would be a
I
good
would
mix
very
with Drake
much
May?
so entertain Tommy Rees.
Yeah.
Tommy Rees is a guy that was in college football for a long time. He was at Notre Dame, he was at Alabama, and then he was in Cleveland this year with Mike Vrabel. Josh McDaniels' name has been thrown around. Here's my hesitation with Josh, because listen, Josh is a very bright offensive mind. How in tune is he with the modern day scheme that we are seeing right now? The 4x1 stuff, the new age RPOs, the design quarterback run. That's not
Especially
a part
Drake
of his
May.
background.
Yeah, when you think about the kind of offense that you want to build around Drake May, you do
I
want
want
to take it in a
something that
slightly
looks
different
like,
direction.
shoot, what Cliff Kingsbury's doing with Jaden Daniels, what we
Right.
see a little bit with C.J. Stroud, what Lamar gets to partake in, what Josh Allen has. Like, I want a smorgasbord of it all.
Mina, when it comes to personnel, I mean, Dan just said the roster stinks around May. What is priority number one if you look at maybe even the offense
That's
specifically?
a good question.
Yeah, it's a tie between, I know it's a cop-out, between the offensive line and the wide receiver one.
Yeah.
The great news is they have the resources to do both of those things. They have a ton of cap space, and then they have that 4th overall pick. So for the next couple of months for the Patriots, they have to figure out what do we like in the draft and who do we like in free agency. T. Higgins is the name that obviously is going to get brought up a lot.
They will 1,000% draft an offensive lineman early. Now that it's Mike Vrabel, while they have the needs of both, he will 1,000% draft an offensive lineman early, and I do think T. Higgins is very much so a free agent kind of target.
Yeah, Vrabel's the first head coach to win 3 Super Bowl rings with a team and then later become their head coach. Pretty cool fact.
Yeah.
You don't see that every day. All right, more to come here on
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ là những video tô mò. Đây, những video tô mò của những sản phẩm con vật đây các bạn ạ. Đây là con chim cánh cụt này, mình tô rất chi là nhiều con vật. Ở đây con cá sấu này, nhiều lắm. Các bạn hãy cùng theo dõi mình tô những sản phẩm nha. Đây. Và để tô được sản phẩm của mình không thể nào thiếu được hộp săn mò. Đây là hộp săn mò của mình thường dùng này, nó phụ trợ cho mình tô mò sản phẩm. Và bây giờ các bạn cùng theo dõi mình tô mò nha.
이러면 CD를 또 만들고
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn tô tượng. Tượng hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là màu đỏ. Các bạn hôm nay tượng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là màu vàng. Bây giờ mình sẽ bắt đầu làm nhé. Nó màu xanh đây, xanh lên nhé.
Chung xong lên.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ là những video tô mò. Đây, những video tô mò của những sản phẩm con vật đây các bạn ạ. Đây là con chim cánh cụt này, mình tô rất chi là nhiều con vật. Ở đây con cá sấu này, nhiều lắm. Các bạn hãy cùng theo dõi mình tô những sản phẩm nha. Đây. Và để tô được sản phẩm của mình không thể nào thiếu được hộp săn mò. Đây là hộp săn mò của mình thường dùng này, nó phụ trợ cho mình tô mò sản phẩm. Và bây giờ các bạn cùng theo dõi mình tô mò nha.
그냥 찌띠로 또 뭐니까.
Mọi người ơi, phần dưới là mình tô một ô vuông nhé. Bây giờ sẽ là màu xanh dịu, màu vàng đi. Rồi một đâu ăn lần đỏ em.